Hey everybody, Ampliflyer here. Just thought I'd do another sort of basic video, and the idea behind it is based on questions in a group that I belong to called Paramotor for Beginners. I'm also in other paramotor groups. But the reason why I thought I'd post this is because there's a lot of people asking questions about buying wings and doing ground handling before training with an instructor. What should they buy? Does anyone have a wing for sale? And there's a lot of things that happen when you train to do this yourself. I'm not against self-training, by the way, because the very first time I flew a paramotor I self-trained. However, I paid for an instructor a long time after to train me again and train me properly. I had forgotten everything, thankfully. But the things I had learned totally outweighed what I'd learned as a self-trained pilot. So basically the question people were asking is, wasn't even a question, is what sort of wing they should buy to start their training off. If you go down that route of self-training, or just even training with a wing to give you a head start, the worst thing that will happen is that you will actually learn bad habits. You can learn many things off of the internet, that's for sure. The PPG Bible as well is very good, but fact still remains, doing is always better. But it's better to at least train with somebody who is already flying and experienced, and just ask them for advice. Because if you go out and buy a wing, you're spending money. This is money that you want to put towards gear, but you need advice on that. You need to know if it's EN A, EN B, beginner wing, expert wing, blah blah blah. But also you need a harness, you need carabiners, and you can't just go pick up any old harness from a DIY shop. Well, you can, but it's not advisable. And also the carabiners, you need to make sure they got the right kilonewton for the wing, because if you buy the wrong sort, they might snap, they might stretch, they might fracture. And if you wasn't paying attention and decided to put them on a proper paramotor and go flying, and it's the wrong thing because you've already done it, they could snap mid-flight and obviously you come crashing down to earth like a rocket. The self-training side of it, if you are going to do it, as I said, find somebody. Doing wing kiting isn't exactly rocket science. There's no major science to kiting. It's not, however, just about getting the wing up. That's the easy part, really. And getting it stable is not that difficult. But it's learning the minute inputs, the tiniest little inputs. Because believe me, every single person that first kites, when you say to them brake, they whack the brakes on as hard as they can, thinking that that's the right thing to do. Because you said brake. It's not. What you need is like the tapping inputs. It's about stepping and tapping. It's about, as soon as you feel the wings start to adjust, then you step under it and then you do a little bit less, and all of it starts to balance out really well. But this all takes time. It can be infuriating. But when you do it and you learn it, but you've learned something wrong and you've got a bad habit, that's a recipe for absolute disaster. Because when you go see your instructor and he says, "Oh, so what can you do?" I can kite. And he showed me. And you do it wrong. Your instructor's going to look at you and go, "You said you can kite, but you can't kite. This isn't kiting. This is not right." Get somebody to help you. Do yourself a favor. Ask somebody for advice at a flying school. If there's no one around you, is it really, really worth pushing to do the kiting without instruction? Because at the end of the day, you're saving maybe 2 lessons maximum, and you may cost you 4 lessons in repairing the damage. The other thing you want to take advice on is the all-up weight when you buy a wing, regardless of what you're buying it for. Because if you buy the wrong style wing and you go kiting in the wrong conditions, you may be lifted. If you buy an undersized wing, it will not react the same as a wing you're going to use in training. You need to get the weight that you're going to fly as a beginner, you're not going to be flying no Warp, you're not going to be flying any of the major brands, to train on, like the speed ones that you fly a brand. I don't mean like that. I mean, you're going to fly the one that is matching your skill. So you need to have exactly the same type of wing to match your skill on the ground, and it needs to be measured with the all up. So that would be your paramotor, that would be your harness, or your paramotor, your body, and the wing weight all together will give you all up weight. The problem is flying with just a harness, training with just a harness is not the correct all up weight. So when you start to do your training, you are not training properly, you're training wrong, you are not training to what you need to be training to. So be aware of what you're trying to do. Make sure that everything matches your plans. Also, there's so many wings for sale, they're everywhere. But do you know the difference between a paramotor wing and a paragliding wing? And also, don't forget, there's also powered parachutes. So somebody might be advertising a wing that they're selling for a friend. They call it paramotor wing. It's actually a paragliding wing. You can't fly that in paramotor. It'll be a nightmare. You haven't got any trims. So when you fly, it'll be slow and boring, and it's not the right thing. You'll always have an angle of attack on your wing. It's for paragliding, so be aware. Buy the right equipment. Ask everybody. Ask people that are doing it. Get the most advice you can possibly take. Get it all to sink in. And then, and only then, consider the flying, consider the training, do it that way. Don't self-train if you can help it. If you're going to self-train, do it carefully, get as much information as you can, get people to help you, take as much advice, become a sponge, soak it all up and enjoy it. Don't be worried that people will judge you, because I told you, I don't judge people on the self-training because I did it at first and I'm still here, I'm still alive. But just remember, to save money sometimes costs you more, and that's a really important thing. So, Amplify is heading out of here. I hope this wasn't too boring. The whole point behind this is simply a little bit of advice, because I saw this message quite a few times in the groups. Stay safe, everybody, and I hope that you found this a little bit interesting. If not, it's just a message. Take care. Peace out.